Corporate governance, a fundamental aspect of business management, has been a subject of concern as long as corporations have existed. Corporate governance, as Investopedia defines it, is a system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. Corporate governance essentially involves balancing the interests of a company's many stakeholders, which can include shareholders, senior management, customers, suppliers, lenders, government, and the community. It encompasses practically every sphere of management, from action plans and internal controls to performance measurement and corporate disclosure. Effective corporate governance fosters investors' confidence, attracting capital for expansion and innovation. It also acts as a compass for strategic decision-making, aligning business objectives with long-term success and societal expectations. Well, let's start our show today, and we have joining us live in the studio Dr. Sam Ohuabunwa, who is the President and Chairman of Council, the Association of Corporate Governance Professionals. Thank you so much. It's good to have you in this capacity today. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Tol. It's a pleasure. You know, I wear different hats and different caps.
Yes. So many ones. The last time was the event in Abuja.
Africa Economic Summit.
Yes. Great one. You're the president of that too. Yeah. So let's, off camera I was asking you, I said, tell us more about this, because I know that corporate governance is something that organizations talk about. Business leaders always, they're always on the forefront of corporate governance to be able to achieve growth in the organization. But tell us more about this association.
No, you see, what we have found is that for a long time, I'm glad you gave a good summary of corporate governance. It's been suspended at that business, big company levels, where you're talking about directors and boards. But this is a concept that is applicable to every facet of business. Big, medium, small, micro. Also, importantly for us in the Association of Corporate Governance, is that it is applicable in governing in the public arena, public sector governance. Also benefits from the same principles. If you look at our country as a nation, as a company, as an institution, as an organization, all the subunits, the MDAs, and all the different arms of government, if each one runs obeying those same principles that big corporates talk about, then their institutions will do well. The country will do well. Yes. Because corporate governance anchors on 4 key principles. Okay. One is responsibility. The other is accountability. The other is fairness and transparency. So if you walk into any organization, be it TVC, be it the teaching hospital, be it in the NDA, whatever, and you check, is this organization working in line with good corporate or good public governance? You must see responsibility. If you don't see responsibility, you must see accountability, that everybody in the organization is accountable for whatever actions he takes and for whatever resources that are put in your care. You must account for it. Not just in terms of financial accounting, but also outcome accounting. If the country says we are spending 1 billion naira to build bridges or to the Ministry of Works, we need the Ministry of Works to be able to show that this 1 billion has produced a value. And you cannot do that until you set the policies, the principles, the codes that govern action from policy inception to policy execution. Now, below the 4 core principles, there are what we call the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars of corporate governance will be, first, purpose. Then you have people. Then you have processes, and then you have performance. And then at the base is what we call the core objectives. Again, we simplify to say there are 4 core objectives. The first core objective is greater accountability. Second is protection of rights. You said it. Everybody in an organization, all the stakeholders in a nation, in a community, in a church, in anywhere, that every stakeholder's right is protected. You don't protect those who make noise. You don't protect those who are shouting, both the sleeping and those who are awake. I mean, look at you know that in many corporate instances, people do not know that local community is a stakeholder.
Yes.
They forget them until they start breaking the pipes. They don't know that the environment is a stakeholder, but it's silent. So, but in proper corporate governance, those silent stakeholders, you must provide for them. So you talk about accountability, you talk about protection of rights. Then the next you talk is ethical conduct. Because business can do well, but if it is not done ethically, there's no way it will be acceptable. And the fourth one is sustainability, which is what SDGs, all the United Nations are talking about sustainability. So corporate governance is what promotes sustainability. So there's predictability.
Yes.
It's not we succeed today and we'll fail tomorrow. So the Association of Corporate Governance Professionals cuts across people in big companies, people in small companies, people in micro companies, people in government, public sector, people in NGOs. Because the truth of the matter is that anywhere you are protecting the interest of everybody, anywhere you're showing fairness to all the constituent groups, monkey they walk, babu the chop, no will come out. We no go agree, because ab initio, you've taken care of everybody.
Carried along.
So that is why we think that for the purposes of Nigeria now, given what we are going through, the effort to reset our economy at great cost and great sacrifice to the people, this will be double jeopardy if we do all this and we do not adopt good public sector or corporate governance principles to make sure that we are accountable, to make sure there's responsibility, to make sure that we operate in a transparent, corruption-free manner. We'll just see that we have just burnt the candle at both ends.
And that will actually bring back that needed trust, even from the people, if that is done. Because clearly I understand how you came up with explaining this and telling how government can even tap into this. But before, I know you have something to say again. Before I go there, I'm interested in the fact that we are now moving to sustain Nigeria's renewed march to global competitiveness.
Absolutely.
So I want you to take us to that end. Considering where we stand, even the community of states, you know, we've dropped now, even in the, but many are saying maybe in the next rebasing, but presently we are below some countries that we used to be ahead of.
Yes. No, I think you're right. The country has all the indices show us on the negative. Is it global competitiveness? We are so low. In fact, the last one done by Institute of Management Development in Basel, was Switzerland, said we are 66 out of 67 countries. Global competitiveness, you know, and when you look at, is it Human Development Index? Is it Corruption Perception Index? Whatever it is, we are low. But it is okay to be low. What is important is where you're going. And from the reforms that we're seeing, it's clear to us that our eyes are set to recover, to return to global competitiveness. And this is why the association believes that while we're doing this, doing all the efforts to attract foreign investment, where we're doing everything to make our economy, private sector and investor friendly, we need to conduct ourselves in a manner that will build this trust for the investors to come back, for the businesses to come back, and for intra and intra-African trade. Because people trade with you, people invest in your economy when they believe that you have steady policies. You don't have this policy stability. Things are not changing every week, every month. There is predictability. You are working to get a macroeconomic environment where inflation is not hyperinflationary and where you can do business at a moderated interest rate, where exchange rate is stable. Macroeconomic stability is one of the things that helps an economy to be globally attractive. So our thought is that by the time we modernize our economy and it is easy to come and go, we have predictable foreign exchange regime. We have a predictable interest rate regime. The policies are stable. Then investors will come. And when investors will come, they will bring investment. And when they bring investment, investments will create jobs. Investment will create businesses, programs and projects. Projects create jobs. Jobs create wealth. And wealth drives away poverty. And when poverty leaves us, quality of life will go up. So Per capita income is low now, but it's likely going to be up. Because if we stabilize the Naira and then we are increasing our productivity by removing those things that, made the economy look opaque, we are now trying to be transparent in pricing our oil. Yeah. We're now trying to be transparent in pricing the foreign exchange. These are the things the world is looking for Nigeria to do. Now, we've done it at great cost to us. It's not as if that cost has been fully paid. Nigerians are paying that cost, which is fine. And we all applaud the courage of government for taking the bull by the horn. But having taken the bull by the horn, can we be sure that we have set up the right processes, we have set up the right procedures, the right systems, and also putting the right people? You know what I told you, or the pillars, yes. Purpose, yes. People, processes, and performance. Do we have the right people? Are they following the right processes? Are they performing? Are they delivering? So this is what we are focusing on, because, there's what we call the hard core, and also there's a soft core. Now, this soft core is what will make the hard core generate the expected impact onto our global competitiveness. When in Nigeria, anybody walks here and says Nigerians' laws are predictable. I go to court, I know that I'm going to get judgment within a given time. There are elections. These elections will produce the person the people want. It will not happen by wish. It will happen by setting policies, procedures, and codes, and then enforcing them. If we don't enforce them after setting them, we will come back to square zero. I believe that everybody that loves Nigeria is desirous that this country should return to global reckoning. Not only global, our president is traveling all over the world. Now, after he's done all that and returns to the country, and things are not working, you tell the investor comes. He arrives at the airport. He comes into the system. He meets the custom people. Yeah. He meets the police collecting money on the road. He just says, this is not working. So we need to put the processes, put the right people. If you're not delivering, we'll take you out or train you till we get the best of all. Everybody can do well. It's a question of trial. So if we take you a job, you shouldn't regard a political job as a career job or a pensionable job. Do the job, you are giving KPIs, giving procedures and processes. We'll monitor you. If you are not delivering, we'll give you another job where you may do better or put you aside and bring somebody else, because we're looking for the best to emerge so that this country, which we all own, why we're doing this in corporate governance, is that this country does not belong to one single person. Every Nigerian is a stakeholder. It's like a company. Yeah. In every company, you have shareholders, you have stakeholders. Every Nigerian owns one share. The president has one share. You, me, we have one. So we need to defend that share. Make sure that share is yielding optimal return for us. I don't want to sit down and be blaming you or blaming president or blaming somebody. I want to sit down and play my own role within where I am able to operate to make sure that by the time we put everybody's contribution together, we'll achieve that goal we're looking for. That's our drive in Association of Corporate Governance Professionals. We don't want it to be something that is elitist. We want a concept that
that's catching my attention, really. Small businesses and all.
Everybody can understand it. Yeah, public and private. Because before now, which was what drew me here, yes, we've talked about corporate governance. I'm the CEO of publicly quoted companies. Yeah. That's where you hear about corporate governance and codes and corporate governance codes. But the rest of us are just operating anyhow. And yet, so if those big guys do well, we spoil it with our own. Because the person you're going to meet when you enter into the country may not be the big guy. Yeah. So, like a movement, really. The Association of Corporate Governance Professionals, we call it association. Because what we're actually looking is like a movement. Let every Nigerian, in whatever facet of business, in whatever career you are, inculcate the discipline that comes with corporate governance. Because in corporate governance, there are systems. If you have conflict, you declare your conflict. If you have an issue, you finish you finish your month, you must report. You finish a quarter, you must report to stock exchange. So the same thing, if that principle comes to public sector, every quarter we are reporting to the president or to whoever is the overseeing minister. The minister reports to the National Assembly. National Assembly reports to people of Nigeria, because the Nigerians are the owners of the business. They are the employers. But in our country, because we're not doing things right, the owners are now like the servants, while the servants are acting like owners. Sometimes they appropriate everything to themselves. Because proportionate reward that you see in good corporate governance, the fairness, means that if you invest more, you get more. If you invest less, you get less. Like the principle they are trying to introduce in the tax reforms. It's the same principle of corporate governance. If you consume more, you will get reward. If you sell more, you get more. And everybody will see it. It's clear. If you want more, invest more. If you want more, plant more. So it's not a question of I'm the one working, you are the one eating. It doesn't balance the equation, because sooner or later, me that is working and I'm not getting a compassionate reward will start thinning down, and the whole system will crumble. But if I'm working hard and I'm getting on, somebody else is not working hard and he knows why I'm getting more than himself, you encourage him, come on guys, move up. He moves up, he gets what I'm getting. Everybody will be encouraged. Nigeria needs that. As a federation, we all need to institute some level of competitiveness that will make all of us become productive, and not anybody thinking that there is a right that God gave him to be able to sit down and others work and take the benefit. That won't work. It will not make all of us happy. So that's the concept we are preaching, and we are hoping that the corporates and both the public and private will take a cue. And I'm seeing quite a lot of respect.
Receptive have they been? Are they?
Very, very. I mean, in the conference we just had in Abuja a week ago, you know, people from the NDDC, they are head of corporate services. A lot, they say they have introducing corporate governance in NDDC. We say, wow, then the NDDC is ready to go. Because the moment there is corporate governance, all these concepts of being corrupt would disappear. It is the opacity. There's no transparency. People do not know what you get, how you spend it. So just here, and NDDC has gotten, or NDDC has gotten so much billions. How did you spend it? And when you spend it, how did you award the contract? Because corporate governance says there must be an advertised procedure. If you want to award contract, let all vendors be aware what is the requirement, not ambush them. And also set up a proper review mechanism. And if there's a conflict, you declare your conflict. You can't be awarding contract to yourself, or awarding contract to your son or to your brother, sitting down there. There's nothing wrong with your brother or your son participating. But if you see your son or brother or friend, you excuse yourself and say, I'm declaring conflict. My brother who runs a business is bidding for this job. I will not be part of the decision making. That's what is required. It's not that fairness. It's not that your brother should not. It's not your.
If he's competent, if he has all that it takes.
Yes, let him prove himself. Somebody say you're doing business with your friends. If you don't do business with your friends, are you going to do with your enemies? So, but your friends should not have undue advantage. That's all that we're asking for. That's why I declare it, so that all of us know, and be sure that nobody is playing hanky-panky. You know, this is built. You talked about trust. Most things work well when there's trust. The moment I am suspicious of you, then I cannot bring my best. I'm putting one hand in the pocket and one hand the other side. So corporate governance builds trust. And that trust comes from transparency, where you declare what you're doing and everybody, this is what we're going to do. Then we do what we're going to do. Then we report that we have done what we're going to do. So from beginning to the end, everybody knows what we are doing. I'm not saying transparency means what people should not know, they should know. No. Those who should know, should know. That's the way transparency works. What kind of information is available to this category of staff, to this category of workers, to this category of shareholders? They should have that information. They shouldn't be begging for it, or you're hiding the information and they are begging for it. That's where suspicion comes. But they get it even before they ask. That's the end of. Some may not even bother to read it. But they got it. But if they didn't get it, they think you're hiding something.
Interesting stuff. And I like the part of your speech that's talking about recovery, that's economic recovery for the country. So can I just wrap up on the way? Well, what is your own outlook, considering what we are seeing lately? GDP figures also came in looking fair. Like, what are you thinking, considering the reforms?
Well, for me, as I said here, these reforms we've taken have been tough reforms.
Really tough ones.
Tough one. I mean, let's be fair. They are tough. But it's like biting the bullet. You know, some people have prefer that we did this gradually.
Yeah.
We did this, you know, in a sequential manner. But, you know, we've done it in this wholesome manner. Beautiful. Is to now manage repercussions while also making sure that people are seeing the benefits. And the benefit is not GDP. The benefit is cost of living.
Cost of living.
Yeah, forget about it. The day inflation starts coming down, the day prices coming rolling down, the day employment starts going up, the day GDP per capita, that's disposable income.
Yes.
Then we know we're achieving those. So let's not worry about GDP is long, it's too contrachy, and so many things come. I mean, if you go and do services and it boosts
food on the table.
Let there be food. Let people feel it.
True.
When people feel it, they will know. They spend the money. You go into the filling station, you are buying fuel at 1,000 something. It's now 900. You say, Another day it's 850. Then somebody tells you that this thing is working. You believe it is working. But I'm sure it will work. But unless, until, and that's our matter, if we do not put this substrate of doing things in the right way, at the right time, all the time, do the right thing in the right way, in the right time, and all the time. That's the summary of corporate governance. Do the right thing in the right way, at the right time, and always. If we do so, then in the next couple of months, not years, we'll begin to see this tickle. Because I think we're already beginning to get some balance from petroleum with the increased production coming in. Sooner or later, there will be competition. And competition creates efficiency. Efficiency drives prices and costs low. So it will be reflected, which is good. We're coming to where we ought to have been. But it takes this sacrifice to be here. Both the courage of the government and the courage of the people and the sacrifice they are making, which must be recognized. But we must make sure that the rewards starts flowing in so that people don't wait for too long and they may lose patience and may not wait to see the outcome. I am positive personally that, our chairman of Nigerian Economic Summit Group, this is what we've always preached. Let's get this economy to be free to fly, to adopt the best in class practices, work classes. We can't be going to the left when everybody's going to the right. We need to follow where people are going so that we can all get to the same destination. And this government is actually pro, open market, pro market procedures. And those market procedures, all we're doing is to manage their consequences, stay on course. I believe that sooner or later, we all will be happy that we will cross this bridge at this time.
Interesting conversation as usual. It's always like giving the whole hour to Mazi. But I must thank you so much for your time on the show. As usual, I've been speaking to the president and is the chairman of Council, Association of Corporate Governance Professionals of Nigeria, in person of Dr. Sam Ohuabunwa, OFR. Thank you so much. It's good to have you in the studio. Thank you for coming.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Just keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you.
Coming up.